how'd you cope with moving? 'Cause I feel homesick and I haven't even left yet. I've had experiences where I go to Japan by myself for extended periods of time. But the thing is, most of the times that I went, I was with family. So it wasn't too bad, you know, I had familiar faces and a lot of support with me. But I definitely did get homesick on occasion. And, you know, I would miss my mom or my dad or my sister or whoever I couldn't see while I was there. And I think at those times, you know, I did have the opportunity to call them up. Though, to be fair, that was also a time in my life where I was rebelling against my family. So it's like, even though I might have missed them, I didn't want to like admit it. So I kind of like avoided keeping too much contact with them at the same time. But, you know, I definitely felt that. And, you know, just like missing friends and the country itself, your home country, you know, that's home, you know, you speak the language, the culture, everything. So it can be a little sad and can be hard to adjust and so on. As for actually coping with it, yeah, I guess you can call your family or your friends. You can just try to make the most of your time in your host country. I'm not sure what the reason is that you're going. Could be studying, could be working, could just be some other lifestyle change, or worst case, you're a refugee or something like that. Either way, I think if you're homesick, you just try to see all the good things about the country that you're in now. Try to make new friends. You know, you can integrate and assimilate a little bit, learn about the culture, make it part of yourself as well. If it's a new language, try to learn the language. And, you know, you just make it your new home and then you won't be so homesick, is one thing. If you have a little slice of home in your new country, that's nice sometimes as well. If you have a restaurant that has your home cuisine, something like that could be nice. Maybe there's a community or diaspora of your people wherever you are. That's another thing. You know, some people find comfort in that. But I think I'd say like my recommended remedy is you really just have to learn to love the country that you're in. If you're making a new life, you want to make it a good life wherever you are. I feel like calling your mom or finding like an insular like circle of people that only speak your language or in your culture or whatever. I feel like that's valid as well to an extent. But I always thought like I wanted to like integrate more in Japan, for example, and you know when in Rome, do as the Romans do and do as the Japanese do in Japan and so on. I always try to follow as many rules as I can and speak the language as much as I can and just be nice. Love Japanese food. I could eat Japanese food forever. In fact, I'm against Australian cuisine. In fact, food options in Australia are supremely inferior to those in most places in Japan, I want to say. So that's never been a problem for me. I'm homesick for Japanese food when I'm in Australia. You know what I'm saying? What even is Australian cuisine? It's not really there is the thing. We don't really have much. Like at most we have like our style of fish and chips and meat pies and steaks and barbecue and stuff like that. Besides that, there's not a whole lot that is unique to Australia. Pizza's Italian, and then you have New York style pizza, Chicago style pizza, etc. I guess we have meat pies, which are kind of Australian. I don't know, the only thing that is uniquely Australian, really, is stuff that is only unique by necessity of the resources that are only found here, like kangaroo meat, witchetty grubs, certain like traditional Aboriginal Australian foods, I guess, and like just old-time Australian foods. What is that bread stuff called? I forget what it's called. Damper. It's called damper. It's like you just get dough and heat it up in a campfire, basically. Anyway, if you're feeling homesick, I hope you can learn to love your host country. And worst case scenario, I hope that you can go back home, and if that's where you're more comfortable, then there's nothing wrong with staying there, you know? Unless you live in a really, really bad war-torn country or something like that, in which case I wouldn't blame you, but I hope that you take the proper procedures to become a refugee in a welcoming country. And I hope that you're treated very well there. Anyway, slight tangent, but I don't know, that was what I thought about the whole homesickness thing. Yeah, I'm lucky that I've never suffered too badly from homesickness, because Japan is like a second home to me. Yeah, hope it goes well anyway.